Oh, this is completely unrelated, but I want to finish my scary story.
Oh.
So when I was a teenager, we went out camping, and there was a truck on a. Oh, hello. There's a pickup truck there, and a bunch of people, but not me, because even I had more brains than that, which is really saying something. Got into the back of the truck, and then the driver was sort of like, driving people around, but like a little bit like roughly, so it was like exciting. And then he took a turn that was like a little bit too much like a donut, and everybody just got pinned to the side, and then everybody stopped, and everybody piled out, and even 17-year-old boys, their faces blanched. Said, let's not do that anymore.
I have very vivid memories of being in a car and hearing the driver yell, "Lean to the high side!"
Oh no.
Ooh.
Did you all grow up here?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not in Victoria, but in British Columbia.
In British Columbia, okay.
Yeah. I grew up in a city about 8 hours north of here called Prince George, which I was told is a great place to raise kids.
Oh, it's not.
Not kids like me.
No. I also grew up in Prince George. I moved there when I was 14, so I spent all my formative shit years there.
Yeah.
Hellraiser years.
I grew up in Alberta and Saskatchewan. So.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did you say Alberta and Saskatchewan or Albertan Saskatchewan?
Alberta and Saskatchewan.
Okay.
I lived in Alberta until I was 18, and then I moved to Saskatchewan.
I was like, because I got my citizenship test coming up, and I've never heard of that.
Okay. Yeah. Nope.
They annexed each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm from a small town in the interior of British Columbia called Nelson. It's where all the hippies and old people and draft dodgers went.
Cool. That's
right?
right. I remember you telling me about the draft dodging.
Does it also have a large Doukhobor population, or is that more in the southeast?
Not. I don't think in town.
Okay.
But like in the Kootenays in general, there are
Right.
lots of communes.
Okay. Yeah.
That a lot of interior BC. We are a province of distinctions.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of, I would say, fairly hippie-ish sensibilities, and also very conservative sensibilities, just mixed all over, but also just in our own little pods. We have all the mountains, and everyone's hiding in them.
What was that word you said?
Doukhobors. Doukhobors are...
That is not what I heard, thank goodness.
Oh,
yes.
they're a minority religious community. I think they're one of the ones that kind of got expelled by the Soviets.
I think they're Ukrainian?
Yeah, I think they're Ukrainian. I forget where exactly they're from, but the word means spirit wrestler.
Yeah.
Neat.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of Ukrainian people in Canada.
I will have to look that up.
Yeah.
It's why
That's
we know what
fascinating.
pierogies are.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of my favorite stories. This isn't me. This was somebody who was telling me this to me. She grew up in. This is the person I worked with. She grew up in Saskatchewan, and so she grew up eating pierogies. And here, you eat them with sour cream and usually crumbled up bacon and onions. That's how you do it. She was working in the UK, and they went out to a Polish restaurant. And they also have pierogies there. And so all of the people around them ordered, and they don't serve them with sour cream there because most people in the UK don't really eat sour cream. Mm-hmm. It's not something that they want to try or use at all. So everybody else was just eating these pierogies. She's sitting there and she looks to the waiter and it's like, "Can I get some sour cream?" And they're like, "She wants sour cream." It's like, so they like went into the back and like got their own like personal tub of sour cream from the fridge that they use because they didn't have stuff for the customers, and brought it out to her so she could have it because she's like, she knows how to eat these, right?
Right.
Oh, serve
That's
her the
incredible.
good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a real one.
Yeah, they asked for sour cream and they were like, actually, hold on. They just take your pierogies, give them to someone else, and bring you a fresh plate.
Yeah.
They look crispy, like they just look nicer.
Oh, do you want me to take over again, Kathleen?
I mean, if you want to, sure.
Okay.
I'm not going to say no. That was a flawless handoff, though.
Oh.
Good job, team.
Quite.
Because I've seen a couple people ask. This is Canada. We're definitely in Canada. I am. I'm actually. I just put in for immigration a couple of months back. So I'm a permanent resident of Canada. I'm originally from New York, because I figured that Victoria needed a little more New York in it. So I'm importing myself.
All right.
Once you're done ordering food,
Yes.
can you tell us a little bit about what growing up as a kid in New York is, but when you're done ordering?
Okay. Oh, man. I'm hill folk.
That's okay, because, like, Prince George is also kind of like hill folk country, based on all our stories about getting in the back of pickup trucks and almost dying.
Yeah.
Right?
It was like a 15-minute walk from my house to the nearest farm field where I grew up. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're way out in the middle of nowhere.
I'm going to just very quickly walk out of the room to place this order.
Yep.
Because I want to snap to what the most interesting thing is, and that's all of you, and this has to happen, so give me just 1 second.
That sounds
Absolutely.
fine.
So Kathleen and Cameron, what are your most wild and raucous Quarry shenanigans that you ever got up to?
Oh,
Well,
Quarry
I've been to
shenanigans.
so many parties and quarries.
There was a time that we all went out to the quarry and piled up a bunch of pallets and set fire to them and hung out and looked at the bonfire in the quarry. And then there was the other time that a bunch of us went out to the quarry and piled up a bunch of pallets and set fire to them and stood around.
Yep.
And there was a time that a bunch of us went out to the quarry and piled up shipping pallets and set fire to them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's basically all you do at a quarry party, because you know what quarries are? Cold and damp.
Yeah.
You need the fire, otherwise it's awful. They're not windy, at least.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
All of the pallets were legally acquired. Don't worry about it.
It was the 90s. It was the 2000s.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
usually somebody's like car would be running and you would hear like very softly over terrible speakers the strains of Metallica's Black Album.
Absolutely. Or any of the Pantera selections.
Right, right,
Or
right.
sometimes somebody would have like a speaker set up and subwoofer so that open their trunk so you could get more stereophonic sound.
Yes, yes.
You know, if it was like a really wild party, you know, there'd be like kids from other schools there and maybe a fight might break out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Sorry, might?
Somebody would have had like an older cousin or brother who was able to get you like get a flat of like Wildcat
Yeah.
or Kokanee.
Yeah. There's definitely the girl who drank too much root beer schnapps on the way there and got really sick in a car.
Yep.
That was me one year.
Also growers.
Grower cider!
Deuces
Yeah.
of growers.
Oh, yeah. It was like $7 or something like that for enough alcohol to really trash a bunch of 14-year-olds.
That was my mom's cider of choice. That was the one that I tried first when I was like, yes, I'm going to have some screwdrivers as my first thing.
Oh.
But after that, some Grower's Apple.
I mean, it's got enough sugar in it that you
Get hungover, yes.
yeah, it's Grower's hangover, no good.
Oh, they're so bad. So Vanilla Bean 809 in chat said, Cameron and Kathleen grew up together or meet in college. It's very funny because we're sort of close in age, but we weren't like quite in the same social circles. I think mine was a little bit more skidly than yours.
Yeah. I was wildly pretentious.
I wish I had gone to your high school, because I probably just would have ended up hanging out with you, I'm sure, because I was also wildly pretentious in high school.
Yeah, I went to the program COD high school, which was the full French immersion from kindergarten to grade 12, which I have completely forgotten. Like I have all my French is gone. But yeah, I had everything in French.
Wow.
And I think by the end of grade 12, it had started with like 60 kids in it, and by the end there were 10 of us.
Wow.
So high
Oh, wow.
attrition.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you're not good at math, it must be extra hard learning it in French, right?
Yeah. Dommage.
Especially with how they say 80.
80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
420s.
420s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
420s, my dudes.
Must go over great with kids these days.
Yeah. I mean, it went over pretty well in my high school.
Speaking of terrible things we drank growing up,
Go on.
teenagers make terrible choices. It was when I was in high school. I think it was a Molson product called Cold Shots.
Oh.
They were like they were a smaller can of beer.
Oh.
And they were like, you should drink this cold, because the colder a beer is, the less it tastes. And these things were vile. Like if they got above like 3 or 4 degrees Celsius, they were just awful.
They're basically like hooch, aren't they?
Basically.
Were they like extra strong or something?
I don't even know if they were, and they were like smaller cans than a normal beer can. It was something you were just supposed to like it was literally just like drink it as fast as you can, sort of beer. And that was a bad time.
Do you think
I moved to Saskatchewan and started drinking Pill, and that was an upgrade.
Oh.
Jesus.
I remember being fascinated with those like bottles when I was a kid, because they had that entire vista on it with a train.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is so cool. There's a train on this bottle.
Yeah. They're very nice. Honestly, like Pilsner's not the worst.
No, a good
It's
Pilsner
actually
is
pretty good.
Nice.
Like, there's fancy, like, okay, so Pilsner is a type of beer, but there's also a brand of beer that is sold basically only in Saskatchewan called Pilsner, and usually just called Pill. And it's not a high quality beer. I think it's actually also made by Molson. Most of those types of beers are. But it's actually kind of not, it's not the worst of like the cheap beer. I've had much worse. Lucky
Flats
Lager,
of beer you
that's
get
a
20
bad-
cans of, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my dad loved kokanee when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Flats of that out at the cabin.
Man, if I had to say, I think if you're gonna do, like, we're getting a flat of bad beer, I feel like kokanee is a strong choice. Like, I feel like that's one of the better, like, bad beers.
I think so, yeah. I think that's... We're discussing terrible beers we drank growing up.
Oh.
Like the cheap stuff you got because that was all you could afford.
Does Jacob have any stories? Also, before Jacob starts his stories, we have 20 minutes left on the $6.11 matching Silk Song purse and wallet set. Anyway, Jacob, do you have any stories?
Yes. About
Childhood.
Cheap beer?
my youth? Yeah, I was told very distinctly that this is a PG thing here.
Well, do you have any stories specifically about the very local brand of cheap beers?
Yeah.
So, I didn't get interesting until I hit college.
Okay, yeah. I can feel that.
Like, I didn't get interesting until I hit university. Pretty much. I interesting, but not... Okay, that's not exactly true. I'm gonna need a second. I need to just go. I need to go through my lexicon. You know, no, because
Also, you don't have to-
PG.
You don't have to do anything self-incriminating or uncomfortable.
Yeah.
No. It's not self-incriminating or uncomfortable. It's desperately trying not to
Corrupt the
move
youth.
against the spirit. Yeah, move against the spirit of the bus. Because I got plenty of stories. Oh boy, can we talk about drinking? I mean, we're talking
have
about
been, yes.
beer. Oh, you have been.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can. Okay, that I can tell. Okay, great. My very. Okay, hold on. I have to figure out how to tell this. I have to tell this in such. Oh boy. All right. I was in a house that had a liquor cabinet. And folks that were not very, shall we say, like, pay attention. They didn't,
Engaged?
yeah, they didn't have a real high pay attention-itude as to the contents of the liquor cabinet.
Strenuous, yeah.
Yeah. And then there was I've been working since I was 14. There's no point in my life have I ever not had more than one job. So I didn't really have many friends growing up. Like, I really, like, not at all. Like, straight up. Like, I had some people that came over, but then it was just I didn't have many friends growing up. And there was one evening, every Saturday, I would watch a 6-hour block of television that started with Xena and ended with Blackadder.
Is that the back-to-back action pack?
I don't know if that's what it was called at the time. It may have been, because again, I grew up in the States, so every once in a while I I just get culture clash. So yeah, it was like Xena, Hercules, and then Star Trek Voyager. It was just I just had it planned out every Saturday night. And then at the end of one evening, like everybody had gone to bed, and I was sitting in the living room by myself. I was about, I don't know, old at the time. And I had recently, with some of my earnings, had gone out and picked up a giant jug of Ecto Cooler. And I was like, well, I've kind of taken care of myself here. I'm earning my own money. I think it's about time as an adult I had a drink.
Okay.
So I went over.
A 14-year-old thinking this to himself.
Yeah. So I went over to where the liquor was held, dragging my 1-gallon jug of Ecto Cooler. Ecto Cooler, in case you don't know, is a bright green high C drink that was it was a cross promotion with Ghostbusters, and it tasted like Ecto Cooler. It was not. It's not a thing that you can describe. There you go. Somebody just posted a picture of it. It was bright green, going in and coming out, as I soon learned, because I went over to that liquor cabinet and I was like, I'm a grown-up person. I'm here. I have very low social skill and self-preservation instincts at this point in my life. I'm gonna try this mixed with gin. So I just poured. The Ecto Cooler was about halfway done. And then I just refilled it with gin.
Oh no!
And sat in the middle of my floor, drinking it. It tasted terrible. I felt very grown up, like an adult. And I did so the same time the next morning. I felt very grown up, like an adult, while I was throwing up bright green. Fortunately, I was able to pass it off as I was able to pass it off as I had just gotten sick. Because everything was bright green, and they were like, "Oh, this must be, it's just terrible. That's awful." I was sitting there. I remember very distinctly setting up again. I was very sad, so I had gotten glasses, and I set up my own 10 forward from the Enterprise, and I was doing a little role play by myself and serving myself ramen in the nail, and pretending I was Whoopi Goldberg, and then an unnamed ensign on the Enterprise. 1701D. There you go.
This isn't Night Watch. You're gonna have to cut it with the Star Trek talk.
No.
Okay.
No. I saw the Night Watch intro. Absolutely. Like I was just like, oh, that was so good. It was so good. At some point, yeah, I love Star Trek. So what they're doing, and they got the outfits and everything. I
know.
Just
You were green with envy rather than Ecto Cooler.
That's very true. Yeah, green like Romulan ale. Like I've been to before it closed down. I went to the Star Trek bar in Vegas.
So did Graham.
Yep.
Yeah?
Went to the Star Trek bar in Vegas. My very first convention was a Star Trek convention when I was 12 and had earned delivering paper money. And just spent it all on a phaser and a Vulcan Science Academy jacket. I love Star Trek. Hugely formative to me. All the new Star Trek stuff that's coming out now, fantastic. So happy that Night Watch is doing a whole Star Trek theme.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's the best.
Think about those free vocal warm-ups.
So
though.
glad that somebody else is doing
Yeah,
it.
so happy that somebody else is doing that. It's so great.
Joe's moved us on to the perkier, more upbeat morning music.
Yeah, that's good. That's just like soothing.
You know,
soothing.
they can do Starfleet. Maybe we could just get rid of all the chairs and get little eyepieces and spend the entire shift standing.
I was thinking of covering myself in tin foil and just like taping a flashlight to my head, just walking on.
You know, playing
Very
a 7
good.
of 9 or whoever.
What's that?
Doing a 7 of 9 kind of cosplay.
I mean, that was doing a 7. I can't say that. Never mind. Excuse me. Nope, we're gonna back that up. Hey,
Hey, let's just
Borgs are great.
quickly